Well, China is working hard to overtake the United States as the most powerful country in the world economically and militarily. It's a struggle that will define future generations for Americans. And yet, remarkably, not all Americans are taking their country's side in this conflict. There are plenty of high-level American officials now on China's payroll, many of them. For example, Mickey Cantor was U.S. Trade Representative from 1993 to 1996. He was a close advisor to Bill Clinton. Now he's on the advisory board of a Chinese smart TV manufacturer. As we've covered on this show, Marco Rubio, among others, fears that these televisions could be used to spy on Americans. It's not a crazy fear. Meanwhile, former Congressman Rick Boucher, a Republican of Virginia, works as the lead lobbyist for Hikvision. That's a Chinese video surveillance company, because that's not creepy or anything. Even former House Speaker John Boehner is a pro-China lobbyist now. Barf. Bill Gertz is a senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon, and he joins us now. Bill, you've heard a lot of people say in the past couple of months, so-and-so is betraying his country, acting against American interests. Here you have a bipartisan collection of people who are demonstrably working against America's interests, and that's okay in Washington? How does that work?
It's a huge problem. China's information and influence operations have been extremely effective. They're literally buying up former officials. They're utilizing coercive measures to get U.S. businessmen who have interests in China to do their bidding, and very little is being done about it. I mean, we hear a lot about Russian influence operations. What China has been doing over the last 30 years is huge compared to what the Russians have done in terms of influencing the U.S. government. They've literally changed the direction of American foreign policy towards China.
And it's terrifying. And unlike Russia, China actually has promise of overtaking the United States as the preeminent nation in the world. They're our rival. They're a threat to our interests. So why is it socially acceptable for Rick Boucher or Mickey Cantor or John Boehner, God help him, to lobby openly on behalf of China? Why does nobody say, well, wait a second, what are you doing acting against America's interests?
Well, up until the Trump administration, there was this narrative through successive Republican and Democratic administrations. The big propaganda theme was China is not a threat. Trump has come out and said, hey, look, the emperor has no clothes. China is a threat. And it's not just limited to these former officials and congressmen and former commerce and officials and the like. They're actually going after former military officials. There's a program called the Sanya Initiative, which was launched about 10 years ago by the former vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Bill Owens. And he basically has made tens of millions of dollars in China, and he formed this organization of former military officials who literally lobbied Congress and the administration to do China's bidding.
That is so deeply corrupt that we're going to follow up on that story, and I hope you will come back to tell us more about it. Bill Gertz, thank you. That's shocking.
Thank you.